Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear my lovely two sisters. So I'm gonna get started with introductions. Welcome back, uh, ladies. Which ones? Who wants to start?
Okay, I'll get this party started. Hi. My name is Asaya, and I'm here to bring the good vibes, and I'm hoping that this podcast is nothing but good vibes. Over to you, Afi.
Hi guys. If you don't know me, my name's Afi, and if you do know me, hi, my name's Afi. Glad to have you on this fun stream today. We have a great race to go through, and it should be fun times.
And of course, I am the lovely, the wonderful, sometimes not always technical guru, Sadam. Hi. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for sticking it out with us. We are so excited to talk about all things. How do you pronounce it, Asay?
It is the Gran Primo Pirelli del Made in Italy del Emilia Romagna.
Or the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Taking place last week in Imola. But before we get to all that goodness, let's do a little bit of news. Afi, actually, do you have any feedback from people that on the first show? We would love to hear what you guys thought.
Okay, so first of all, got a lot of great feedback from the people who were with us for our crash of a show last Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for your support. You guys were super sweet, and we really appreciate it. Another thing is that a lot of you seem to like it. We do have internet issues, which we'll try and get to. We need to find an Ethernet cable, which is a relic from the 1800s, which is $5 on Amazon. So we'll find that and we'll try and fix it. But other than that, you guys are super kind, and we really appreciate your support at the moment. We have a couple guests planned for a couple races down the line. And again, if you guys want to be guests, I'll probably come up and ask you guys, but let us know. We have many races that don't have guests yet, so please let us know, and we'll totally have you on. Other than that, that's it.
It's a long season, folks, so get yourself in there. How about news from the F1 part? I'll start really quickly. So unfortunately, there is no Canadian Grand Prix. They canceled it, due to, yes, Avishika. Really, Avishika. Calm down. Calm down. So yeah, there is no Canadian Grand Prix. So poor baby Stroll will not have his home Grand Prix for the second year in a row. But good news for all Miamians. There is a Miami Grand Prix coming to you in 2022. Yeah. I mean, I honestly feel like Pitbull should be out there to give us the trophies. I said this on Tuesday. I will say it again. It's important. Asay, what about you?
Well, speaking of Imola, as a result of last week's race, the last race in Bahrain, sorry, cobwebs in my throat. Last week in Bahrain, with the track limits, this race in Imola are now clamping down on track limits. If you do not make a smooth exit on turn 9, 14, and 15, so I believe your time will be deleted. And even though that has been met with confusion, especially from one Max Verstappen who wishes that the race stewards would be a little bit more clear on what they expect from us. I mean, they're saying not today. They're saying no Bahrain 2021 business. You're not taking a different route. So, I mean, I'm with Max Verstappen. That shit makes no sense, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
And you know what? I'll be honest, they really clamped down on it, especially during qualifying. So many people's scores were deleted. Not scores, times were deleted, which we will get to that because one notable driver had that have his fate, but it actually worked out well for him. That was a spoiler. Sorry. But yeah, that's going to be important, I think, coming up in the next, season, in this whole season, I guess. But that's pretty much it from us on the news side of things. So we're going to get into our next segment. And to do that, we're going to have to bring on our guest for this week. Yes. I'm sure all you Lincoln folks out there really do appreciate him and love him, and there's some mad love for him out there. But I can't wait to have him on and to also get his opinion. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Rudra. Oh, yay! Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Sadan. Thank you, Sadan and Afi and Asay, for having me on the podcast. Really excited to talk about the F1 world, and just what we have planned is really exciting.
We're excited to
Thank
have
you for coming. This is great.
Yeah.
So excited. It's gonna be wonderful. You have fans in the comments, by the way. Couple fans.
Nice.
So Rudra, tell us about Formula One for you. How did you find it? What do you love about it? Who's your favorite driver? And remember, on this podcast, the only answer is Lewis Hamilton. I'm just kidding, it's not. We respect all views, and we don't mind if you like any of the 19 drivers on the grid.
So I got into F1 through the Drive to Survive series on Netflix, which I know isn't the best way, but I think their marketing was really good, and they were able to bring in so many new fans. I know a lot of my friends became fans because of the Drive to Survive series. I really like F1 right now, at least because of all the drama and a lot of the drivers that are on the grid. I think a lot of drivers have really good personalities and are really admirable people. I don't know much about the technical side of F1 yet. That's something I really want to learn in the future because it's just so intriguing and so complex and complicated. My favorite drivers, and I don't think this is going to be well received, are Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. So I'm not a huge fan of Lewis Hamilton. I really admire him, but I think he's probably like in my top 5 favorite drivers, but not in my like top 2 or top 3.
Fair enough. One of those 2 are correct of your favorites. We will not mention which one is the one that we appreciate or not. No, but that's fantastic. And you know what? Honestly, I love DTS fans. I think they're fantastic. I think it is a really thrilling show. I mean, one of my friends on Instagram actually, and I'm not sure if she's on. Hi, Ski. She mentioned just how much F1 related content is on Netflix these days. I mean, it's not just DTS. There's the Senna documentary. There's the Williams documentary. And I think in some places there's Rush, the movie about the legendary battle between, oh my word, James Hunt and Niki Lauda. So I think it's, I love that DTS brought you here and, you're sticking around and actually watching the races. So good on you.
Yeah, I really agree with your friend. I think the F1 administrative body has done a really good job of advertising through social media. Like I can't think of any other sport where you can get so up and close and personal to the drivers and teams. Like I know on the Instagram, the F1 team always uploads like the radio talks between the team managers and the drivers, and that doesn't happen like in any other sport. You can't get that like up close and personal to the team and their plans. So I think they do a really good job of bringing in like fans and attention and yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I'm not sure. I know American football, they use radios, but it's like, I don't hear what they, the plays and the hut hut. And sorry to American fans. I don't know anything about that sport. Luckily, we're F1 related. But it's great. And, thank you so much again for joining this. So we have this fun little thing that actually you recommended, which was the tier list, which we're really excited to get into. So over the course of our break, Rudy made this tier list that we're instructed to put like our drivers in the specific slots and whatever. And so each one of us did one. And I'm going to start out with Afi sharing hers and explaining why you did yours and, played yours out the way it is. So this is Afi's list.
Okay. I don't want people making fun of me. Because I have some questionable people in questionable areas. Just give me a second because I need to find my list. So
really,
if we could set in,
okay,
don't stress me out.
Who has their list up? I can show them theirs. Oh my god,
I'm your favorite. Okay, anyways, so in my top tier, the best of the best, I have Lewis and Verstappen. Lewis because it's obvious, 8-time, soon to be 8-time world champion. 7-time world champion at the moment. We also have Verstappen, he's honestly shockingly wonderful at this sport. Although he's quite aggressive with the way he plays and his strategy, he's great. He's wonderful, amazing. For my borderline champions, I put up Perez and Russell. Russell, for obvious reasons. We saw the way he drove last year in Zakir. He was stunning, but Mercedes pit crew is a circus. And then we have Perez, who, like, look at him go. Like, he's doing great. Now, for the best of the rest, I also see them being champions soon as well. But at the moment, let them be where they are. I put Leclerc, Ricardo, Norris, and Vettel. Vettel, I would have put him higher, but I don't know what's going on with him this season. Hopefully we see him pick up the pace a bit. Norris and Leclerc, just because they're young, I see them being really good later down the line. They are really good right now, but just because they're young, I put them in that tier. And then for Ricardo, I just like his vibe. For quality midfield, I put down Stroll, Alonso, Kimi, Sainz, and Gasly. Just because I think it's quite obvious. They're always in the midfield battle, and they're always doing really well there too. And then something to prove, I put down Tsunoda and Schumacher and Ocon. Ocon has been in the sport for a while, so I expect a little bit more from him. I know his team is also developing, but we'll see where that goes also. Schumacher and Tsunoda, they're new. They're just new to F1, so I see them moving up later. At risk, that guy, he should leave the sport. Actually, now I'm about to pop off because I don't like that guy whatsoever. He needs to get out. He's rooting for all Mercedes fans at the moment. Anyways, we also have Latifi and Giovinazzi. It's Latifi. He can be a Nutella ambassador. I think he would do really well doing that. And Giovinazzi. It's Giovinazzi. I'm done. Thank you.
You're gonna get us kicked out of the Mercedes fan club.
I feel as though all the Mercedes supporters feel the same as me because that's what they were saying on social media. Everyone's sick of his ass in that seat. You should go back to Williams. You should switch with Russell.
Okay. Thoughts. Rest of y'all.
I really agree with Afi. I just think that Leclerc might be moved into that borderline champion category, especially because of his recent performances, the last like 2 races, and like with the upgrade of the Ferrari mechanics and Ferrari car. I definitely think that Leclerc has like the potential to challenge for a title in the near future.
I agree.
I see it.
I think you ranked Ocon too highly. I will probably spend time on that. I'm not sure where I forgot what I did, but I'll see it when I see it. But like I think Ocon's too high. I think he is definitely at risk. I honestly don't know what he's still doing in Formula One. He has not been competitive ever. I know it's Renault, but Ricciardo, same car, last year, 2 podiums. So, what's Ocon doing? What is Ocon doing? I don't know.
Podium, but he got 1 podium last time around.
Okay, that was like his first podium as well.
That was a fluke.
That was a fluke, and it was a first. Sorry, it was a fluke. It was a first podium. He has not been able to figure out his performance up to then. So I disagree. He should be. He's definitely at risk this season. He might lose the seat. Say.
I mean, I agree with that. Yeah, I see what you're doing with putting Verstappen in the best of the best category, because he's very strong, very competitive this year. Like even throughout the years, he's been very strong. But you see him now this year. It'll be interesting to see where he goes with that. Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. I kind of disagree with the Sebastian Vettel, putting him a little bit down. But then, I mean, first of all, I'll say that it's early days. It's early days. He's starting out, and also at the same time, he's also very, very strong as well too.
He is. I completely understand that it's early days, but Stroll is doing better than him. I love Stroll. We're getting married in December, but like it doesn't really make. No, stop, Senna, please. I beg. No, stop. I beg.
I wasn't ready, so you're off the hook.
No, I Stroll's doing better than Vettel at the moment, and I expect a little bit more from a super experienced driver. I mean, Stroll, he jumped from like F3 to F1 because of Daddy's money, but I expect a little bit more from a experienced driver. So.
Okay, next up, speaking of which, is Asay. Asay, do you want to just point out like your notable people and why you place them where you place them?
Yeah, I'll point that out. I'll start from the bottom to the top, I guess. Bottom, Mazepin.
Which I cut out.
Anywho, moving up from that, there's rookies, and I didn't say rookies, I said rookies! Because, I mean, first of all, we're cute, and secondly, we're also new. We're starting out. Both Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda show a lot of promise. So, rookies! At risk is Kimi Räikkönen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Esteban Ocon. I see all of them being lackluster. Like, they're not terrible, but they're not exciting, except to an extent with Antonio Giovinazzi. But I mean, he has long hair, so I'm bad with that. Then something to prove. I believe Fernando Alonso has something to prove this time around. He's back for his 4th go in Formula One. There's something he's back for his 4th go. He's going for another championship. I feel like he's not done yet, and I want to see what he can do. Nicholas Latifi, I don't rule him out because even though he's been out qualified by George Russell a lot, I mean, he's still good. He's still a competent driver, and I feel like there's something in him that's there. That's like he's got to let it out. I want to see how it goes, but again, I agree with Afi. He could make a fantastic Nutella ambassador. Quality midfield drivers, signs of Bottas. I mean, Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz. He did a fantastic job with McLaren, and he's doing pretty well for himself with Ferrari. He's fighting up there. Bottas. He's doing well for himself. He's consistent, even though at best you can say he's consistent. And his start this year is not great. But if he knows what's good for him, he'll pick it up. He'll step it up and everything. For a Mercedes driver, he is forgettable. Best of the rest, Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly, and Lance Stroll. Lando Norris, I think this with Imola, he's really, really impressed me. Stroll, he's so poised. Like, I'm now appreciating how poised he is while driving. You can see that he doesn't break a sweat while he's driving, and it's appreciative. And Pierre Gasly, like, he's proven himself with the way he drove at Monza already. But then you can also see it as well, too, I see it as well in his recent races in Bahrain and Imola, so that's been pretty good.
I say
Borderline
points.
Borderline champions, George Russell, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, and Sergio Perez. I struggle with this one, but they're all incredibly talented. You see that it's there, and you know that if given the chance, any of these guys will succeed. And then I don't see the best of the best. I see the Holy Trinity, and that is Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, and Daniel Ricciardo. I'm looking at this from over the years, and these guys, they've impressed me. I want to talk about Daniel Ricciardo. Even though Daniel Ricciardo hasn't won a world championship, I see him as one of these great F1 drivers who, even though they haven't won a world championship yet, they've still impressed. They still managed to thrill and wow and excite. So think Rubens Barrichello, Claire Regattoni, who else is there? David Coulthard, that bunch. Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton are self-explanatory. And, yeah.
Thoughts, guys?
I completely agree with Stroll.
Might as well make up for it.
Jesus.
I think that I like your list. I think I disagree with... actually, I like it. Yeah.
I disagree with Bottas. He's too high.
I think you're being too hard on him, Effie.
Yeah. I really like Asay's Holy Trinity, borderline champion, and best of the rest trifecta. I think pretty much all of her choices were a bit perfect. The only disagreement I would make maybe is she's underrating Kimi a bit, but I would understand that because of his age. And there are a lot of good young drivers in F2 and F3 just waiting for a seat. So I would see where she was coming from, but I would still put Kimi in maybe something to prove her quality midfield.
Okay.
I also think actually, I like your list, but I'm gonna disagree with Latifi's placement. He's at risk too.
I agree with Daniel Ricciardo's placement.
Okay, speaking of which, Rudy, you're up. Give us your highlights.
So in hindsight, I think I made a lot of mistakes when making this list, but I'll still go through them. At risk, I put Giovinazzi and Latifi for, I guess, pretty obvious reasons. I'm sure a lot of us put them in like the lower end of this tier. Um, and for something to prove, I put Fernando Alonso just because of his prior stints with McLaren. Didn't turn out as well. The environment was really toxic. He didn't perform to expectations. And because of his age, I still feel like he really has something to prove. As much as I like Fernando Alonso, I don't think that he is in that quality midfield or best of the rest yet, um, at least in this stage of his career. I put Mazepin in something to prove, and I think we all know why. I think he has a lot of off-grid issues, super disgusting, super vile. So, like, I think, yeah, he also has something to prove, I guess. Um, Ocon, I agree with. I think Afi and Ase also had Ocon something to prove are at risk, and I agree with them. I think Ocon has been on the grid for a while, but hasn't really shown his potential yet. For quality midfield, I put Kimi just because he's been so consistent for such a long period of time. I put Yuki and Pierre, mostly because I feel like they're solid drivers right now. Some people might feel that I'm underrating Pierre, but I feel that I may have underrated him just because of that blotch in his career when he was with Red Bull. I feel like he could have just done a bit better in that stage of his career. And I feel like Mick Schumacher will be a quality midfield driver this season. For best of the rest, I put Stroll. Just like I said, he's been outdoing Vettel at least this season, and last season he was super consistent. Carlos Sainz was doing super well with McLaren, now with Ferrari. Lando Norris has just been like has been crazy, like such a good young driver. And I think Valtteri can be a borderline champion or even best of the rest, but he's just failed himself too many times. I think last season especially, there's so many times where Verstappen outqualified him and outpaced him in so many races. And I think Vettel is in best of the rest right now. For borderline champions, I put Leclerc just because I see that X factor in him. I don't know why. I just see that potential in him. George Russell, because we also we did with the Mercedes car last year. Checo, because of his performances in the Racing Point and recently in the Red Bull. Well, not in Imola, but at least with in the first race of the season. And for best of the rest, I put Daniel Ricciardo because I mean Daniel Ricciardo is like is what Lewis Hamilton is to you guys. And I also included Verstappen and Hamilton just because I feel like they're two best on the grid right now.
Awesome. So, you know,
Said change it to the 3.
yeah. So technical difficulties happened again. And I think Asay had to drop, but she will hopefully be rejoining us very, 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 very soon. But when every time I keep changing it, I'm trying to get there we go. I can get Rudy in either one or the other. But let's just talk about your list really quickly. I think that's a pretty good comprehensive list, and I'm just gonna switch it back so that people can see it. And like Rudy, you can like swing your head one way or the other. But yeah, I think it's a really good comprehensive list. I think it's it makes sense, and I think yours skews more to like the driver's ability, whereas I feel like mine's a little different, where mine skews definitely more towards, their ability and their car. So I like your list. I like also seeing Mick in the quality midfield drivers section. If only he had a decent car.
Rudy, we have some people aren't completely sure about your list, about Mazepin being in so high in your list, I guess. But I see where you're coming from if we're just gonna do it off a basis of how he drives. Not actually even that. I don't really see it because he's dangerous. Like the amount of mistakes that he made in F2 were appalling. But I can understand where you're coming from in the sense that he's new. So we're trying to get him back in. Sedum, I think you should change it to the 4.
Ooh. Well,
Welcome.
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 You know, we did also say we were having internet issues before this, so this is an example of it. But hey, we got our third girl back. It's good to have you back, Asay. Any thoughts about Rudy's list before we continue to mine?
No, it sounds like a very good list. Yeah, it fair points. Kimmy, I see. Kimmy, I see why you put Kimmy up there. Yeah, it's good. It's a good list.
Cool, cool. All right, my turn, because it's all about me. Look, when I saw, I'm gonna just point out the notable ones, and I'm just gonna start with Lewis. Said best of the best. I thought there's only one person that could have a title. It's got to be Lewis. 7-time world champion. His stats think for himself. Sorry, guys. I'm just saying it's got to be Lewis. The only one that I feel like if they were in the same equipment and same car, if I could redo this list, is probably Verstappen and actually maybe Vettel. Because Vettel is a 4-time world champion. He's got a great history behind him. I think the tools that he's been dealt with this year haven't been that great. And that's why I put him at something to prove. And because he has to make it work with Aston. Otherwise, people are going to start thinking, was it really the car Ferrari? Or was it you? Then also Verstappen, who I think will be world champion someday. If it's not this season, it will be very soon. He's just a very talented, quick guy. And I'm actually, he's just fantastic. And I can't, he's just a really great and talented driver. But I'm just saying, with the car and the talent, it has to be Lewis. He's the only one in that for me. Leclerc and Ricciardo, I think they're great. Very talented guys. Best of the rest, I think it is actually Checo and forgetting his name, Sainz and Pierre Gasly. I think he's fantastic, that Gasly. He's great. The things that he's doing with that AlphaTauri, child. And literally everyone else are quality midfield drivers. I do find it interesting that everyone ranks Russell quite highly on theirs. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he's super talented, but the card that he's given is not enough for him to go anywhere beyond best of the rest or borderline champion. I think he needs to be in a much better car. But he is definitely, with that Williams, quality midfield driver. Absolutely. I think Schumacher and Tsunoda are both incredibly talented. Their F2 journeys were so inspiring. And I can't wait to see what they do this season. Vettel, for the reasons why I said, he's got some things to prove. He's a 4-time world champion. No one's doubting his talent, but he's got some things to prove this season. And honestly, at risk, I should have actually put Bottas at risk, to be honest, too. That performance at Imola was disastrous.
Disgraceful.
It was really not good. But those other three will lose their seat if they don't pull off something completely amazing. Giovinazzi was about to lose his seat last season. I mean, they could have easily put Schumacher in that Alfa Romeo seat, which I think they should have, to be honest. But no, they kept him on. So he better work. And Latifi, the end. Great Nutella ambassador, though.
For sure. I agree. Okay. Salom, our dear Salom was wondering why we didn't have a trash tier for Mazepin.
Oh!
We sincerely apologize for that.
Yeah.
Didn't think of it.
Sincerely apologize. We will think about that next time. Does anyone have final thoughts before we move on to our main event?
I really agree with... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. It's okay. You go ahead.
Okay. To be honest, I really agree with everything said and put. One thing that I guess changed my perception was putting Vettel in something to prove. Because I think Afi, Asay, and I all put Vettel in one of the higher tiers. And just thinking about Vettel's recent performances in the Ferrari, as well as what he's not been able to do, I guess, in the Aston Martin the past 2 races, has really, I guess, changed my perception of him. I think if I had to redo this list, I would have put Vettel in a much lower position.
And you know what? It's also early days too, I might add. Like, remember the miracle in Turkey. I think it was Turkey.
Yes, it is the early days, but for some drivers, it's appalling. Like Vettel, it's a new car, and he's getting used to that. It's like it's a new team and a new car. But how honestly, it hurts my heart. Mercedes not being in the top 5. No.
Wait,
no.
let us get to the wait. Let us get to the race first before we go into that. I say your points. Thank you.
I mean, I was just going to say with Russell, I guess for me, the reason why I rated him so highly is, the car, the Williams, I'm sorry, Claire Williams and Sir Frank Williams, but the car is shit. And the fact that he's managed to put the car in Q2 repeatedly, that's impressive. And that's something to be proud of.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Sorry. Just in the chat, we had Matthew who said he appreciates the Gasly rating from you. And also, Selim, again, our dear Selim said, I guess if you put a monkey, Bottas, in a car, he won't be able to drive it. Poor Lauda. Poor Lauda was wrong.
Okay.
Okay, tea.
So,
okay, very piping hot tea.
With that,
let's get into the race, shall we?
Let's get to that.
Yes.
So let me go through results first. And because I think all of our points are going to intertwine with both what happened in qualifying and what happened with the race. So with the qualifying results, on pole was Hamilton. Second was Perez, and poor Lando. I felt so bad for him. Oh, what a deleted time. And then third was Verstappen. And then for the race results, breaking his empty drought, we have the winner, Verstappen. Hamilton, with an incredibly recovery drive, comes in at second, and also is the 700th, has the 700th podium for a British driver. And this was a great redemption arc. Lando Norris, third. And also the 699th driver, the British driver to have a podium. So, Afishika, continue with your Bottas rant.
Okay, so I think one of the major events that happened that we all, when we watched the race, which was awful, like it was a scary crash, was the Russell. Sorry, I just read the chat. Someone in the chat named Hamilton is overrated said Hamilton is overrated. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, okay. But with the big crash that we saw between Russell and Bottas, there was some news that did come of it. It was very obvious that Toto was not impressed with what Russell had said after his big crash and after his reaction, which, to be completely honest, I didn't think it was too bad what Russell said about him being a little bit tough on Bottas, because Bottas was disappointing this race, and I think someone needed to say it. But we saw that a lot, and we have Hamilton is overrated.
Oh, did she pause? I don't hear Afishika anymore. And I also think I messed up something as well, too. I've been moving things
Rated like Russell there. So, sorry, is my Wi-Fi?
I think so. I think your Wi-Fi kind of went out on us.
Yeah.
Did it get hit by Russell?
Hit.
So, sorry. If you guys can see the chat, Hamilton is overrated came out and said that. Oh no, okay. I have a feeling I know who this person is. Okay.
Who is it?
Sorry. In the chat, someone was just saying that Russell is the GOAT and got Bottas out of there, which he did. He sure did. he was out of there. But Bottas was a disgrace this race, and a lot of Mercedes fans are not happy with his performance, and they're saying that if his performance continues like this, he should leave the team, because how can you have like the last champions for last season coming 8th with a car like that? That's one of that. I would say that car is the second best car on the grid at the moment, and I would say that the Red Bull is better. Yes, Sadam. I said what I said. What you gonna do about it? Hit me? You can't. You in New York. You can't do anything. But yeah, that's how I think. So now the person wants me to guess.
Okay, forget about guessing. I want to hear more people's opinions. Folks, what else did you all think?
One thing that I really enjoyed from the race was the McLaren Ferrari battle. For I guess like the 3 to 5 or 4 to 6 spots. Just that like Lando and Ricciardo just having that like 1-2 relationship for the lion's share of the circuit, and then Sainz coming and splitting them up, and Leclerc getting ahead. So I just really enjoyed the fact that we had 3 relatively young drivers in Sainz, Leclerc, and Lando doing really well, and Ricciardo, who's like liked by everyone, also doing really well. That was just a really, I guess, wholesome thing to see, especially like having Ferrari back to their ways, I guess. It's also really nice to see.
Say.
Regarding your Ricardo point, Salam has just said that Norris ripped Ricardo's Ricardo.
I was actually going to come and say that. So it's actually quite interesting because one of the points that I came across with was that I'm a little concerned about Ricciardo and Vettel's performances at Imola. They were both like outplaced or outpositioned, whatever. Their younger teammates placed higher than they did. Stroll placed in the top 10. I don't know.
But with Ricciardo, do we not remember that Norris was telling his engineer that it would be easier for him to go forward, and Ricciardo moved out of the way for Norris to come in front? Like, that was a strategic move made by McLaren.
Yeah, but
so I wouldn't necessarily say that
McLaren
Ricciardo
favors.
was whooped. I think he just had to do what he had to do for the team.
Yeah, but McLaren favors.
Vettel is in trouble. Sorry.
I just want to say that. Okay, I missed that point during the race. Fair point. And I'm sure that the team would have probably made the same call if it was Ricciardo in the opposite position. But yeah, Aston Martin. That's the second time that's happened. If it happens a third time, I'm gonna get nervous.
Same. I'd get nervous too. Now we're starting to move into the season. It's gonna be a long season. So Sebastian Vettel and Sebastian Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo may have ample time to get better and to get better and look at what went wrong and what didn't go wrong. But it's you do feel like they have something to prove, especially if they really want to stay.
On the topic of McLaren, Hamilton is overrated. Sir, please, I'm just gonna call you HSO. HSO has just said that McLaren only makes nice supercars and they should quit the F1. Ooh. So my question to you, Hasana, please calm down. Please calm down. Please, I think I go to school with this person.
No, I'm not coming to fight with them. I'm just saying the same could be said for Ferrari.
Ooh, actually, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Though
if we're going to be on that basis, then Ferrari is also in a very similar boat. Because last year, McLaren was a lot better than Ferrari if we just look at statistics. So, I think we need to think about that too.
But I will say, with that, I will put an asterisk on that comment because Ferrari had a great performance at Imola. P4 and 5. Damn!
That's really
good.
Hey,
Yeah.
where are you? Let me know in the comments. I want to see y'all.
I mean, sorry.
Let's go for it.
Like we're getting better, and it's good. And even though I'm not a member of the full seat, I think it's a good thing because it's like it's good because it's a good thing because it's good to see them back at fighting pedigree, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's
Agreed.
yeah, especially in Italy. That's like their stomping ground. That's where prancing horses go to graze. It's good.
Go to Grace.
I think another major event that happened was Lewis's spin.
Yeah.
His little, let me go to ninth place quickly. Let me just be there for a little bit. Which was broke my heart. But other people on social media have been saying that Lewis is an extremely talented driver, but he's mostly just lucky. So I want to bring up that discussion into the comments and with the people on the stream with you guys, because people are saying he's lucky because directly after he spun and did his little reverse move, the crash happened, causing a red flag. So if the red flag hadn't have happened, people are saying that Lewis would still be maybe not in the top 3, but so
Yeah.
those are your opinions.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with it, but then at the same time, I mean, for me, the way I look at it is that at the same time, yeah, it is very, very fortunate that they ended up having to stop the race because of what happened with George Russell and Valtteri Bottas. But then at the same time, with that come from behind sort of spiel, I mean that takes a lot of guts and skill to do, and sometimes a little bit of intimidation as well. I mean, honestly, I was thinking if Lewis Hamilton came in third, I thought Lewis Hamilton would have been lucky if he came in third. But then to see him come in second, that's pretty impressive. Yeah. And also, Lewis had ample amounts of time after the race stoppage. There was like 20 or so laps remaining. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an element in luck in everything, though. You know, like there is an element of luck to a lot of things in life. So yeah, I get what the person is saying. I get what people on social media are saying. If the crash did not happen right after he spun out, he would have probably he would have had a recovery drive. I think he's very capable of a recovery drive. But I did not expect him to get onto the podium. That I was impressed and surprised by. So I think if it was like a normal safety car, I think he would have probably been in the top 5, you know. So yeah, I get where people are coming from. There is an element of luck, but that's life.
Okay, Rudy, what do you feel like? How do you feel?
I mean, I kind of agree with Sedem. I guess there's luck embedded in like everything or every achievement. It's hard to speculate and say, oh, this would have happened if the crash didn't happen or Lewis would have ended up here. All I can say is that race was just a testament to how good of a driver both Lewis and Verstappen are. I mean, just going from 9th to 2nd in the matter of 20 laps, that's just insane. And especially if the drivers in front of you are, Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, like that's insane. I mean, that was just a testament to how good of a driver he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think, guys, we might be at time.
Hold on. I just want to bring up a comment that said, you love me, we're best friends. We shared things as babies, even though you were 10 years older than me. HIO has come up and said that I'm willing to bet that Verstappen wins this year. I wouldn't be surprised. In all honesty, at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised.
Now, I think it's too early to say that, but I did see a post on my Gunnian F1 WhatsApp group, F1 WhatsApp group, and someone did make an allusion to Alonso, I think in 2005, where he had not won any championships, came first in Imola, and then won the world championship in that season. Verstappen has won Imola. Is he our new 2021 champion? If he is,
I would be mad.
that's fine, but Hamilton can't retire.
No, I mean Hamilton just has to make it to 8, and then he can go and be with his doggos. But like, I truly wouldn't be surprised if Verstappen came in and swept it under the rug. But with constructors, that's what I'm really interested in seeing at the moment. Constructors Championship, that's going to be interesting because Christian Horner, we all know from Drive to Survive that he is a little bit of a tattletale. So I'm excited to see with Drive to Survive what he's going to do and what he's been doing this season to make his car like that fast, and also what he's going to be, his little tactics to see what he can do to become the constructors champion.
Also, I want to add that for that, in the drivers' championship standings, Hamilton is leading by a point, which is amazing. Thanks to that thanks to getting that fastest lap, brilliant. But Red Bull is smoking the constructors at the moment. They are totally in the lead. Bottas really has screwed it up for us. This might be bad. So it should be interesting. But does anyone have last thoughts?
These are a bunch of things to think about when you're making your F1 fantasy teams. The people on my league or in the league that I'm in, please don't make fun of me. It was my first one, okay? I've never done this before. I had faith in Yuki, so please. We'll see what happens. Like, these are things to think about, especially for your constructors. If you have Mercedes at your constructors, I would think about that. But McLaren and Red Bull seem like a pretty good pick at the moment, so we'll see what happens next race.
Alrighty. Rudy, Asay, final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you guys for bringing me onto the podcast. I think it'd be really cool if at the end of the season you guys redid the tier list and saw what changed and what didn't change. That would be really cool because you can really observe which drivers did well, which drivers didn't. I think that would be a really fun thing to do.
I think we might take you up on that.
Thank you.
It's a great idea.
Thank you for that. Rudy, do you want to plug yourself just before you go? You want to let people know what your Instagram is?
Oh, yeah. So, what's my Instagram handle? Oh, yeah. It's at Rudra RS_. So if you want to follow me there, I don't post much, but you can do so. If you want to find me a girlfriend, that's fine by me. That would actually be pretty great. Thank you.
Awesome. And of course, you can follow all three of us at Box Box Goss F1 on the Twitters and the Instagrams and the other, I think TikTok, But that's all we have time for, folks, today. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you if you came on Tuesday and you stuck it out all through today. We love you so much, Pit Crew. That means the world. We'll be back, not next week, but the week after for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Very excited about going back there this year. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. And Lando Norris, if you're sending chocolates, please send me one. I'll text you my address.
I say please. It's like me getting married to Stroll. Listen up.
Bye.
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 Suda? Finished? Oh, sorry. Hi guys. Much love. Love you guys.